Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Selvaja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agam Vakil. Well, Navneet, given if should we close today higher, it would be the fifth straight day of gains, and that would be the longest gaining streak since March of 2019.
Wow, and that's, I think that'll be some positive sign for the bulls as well. The way we've recovered in the past 5 sessions, we've seen lows of about 10,750 from thereabouts. Index closed above the mark of 11,000 on Monday, and the up move continues from there as Nifty is right now trading with gains of 30 points. We're back after a holiday, but the up move continues. Bank Nifty is now crossed, by the way, the 20-day moving average, which was at 27,630. So another technical positive signal going ahead for this index, where some bit of long positions were also seen on Monday. Just want to pull up the broader markets because they are the ones which are outperforming today. Both the mid-cap as well as the small-cap indices have seen gains between 7/10 to almost 1% in trade. The market breadth is looking pretty encouraging, and it's just not about today. The market breadth in the last few days has been in favor of the advances, and this morning, once again, it's firmly in favor of the advances. The ratio is somewhere about 4:1. India VIX is definitely cooled off, so that's encouraging for the bulls going ahead, but still it is at 15.6. I think below 15 will trigger more of buying. In terms of sectoral gainers today, the beaten down auto metals have rebounded. Even the PSU banking index has seen some strong gains today. So all these 3 indices have seen gains of between 1.5% to 2%. Metals up almost 2% in trade, and the autos also after the up move that we've seen from the month of August, that continues. That's up about 2%. So very quickly, let's talk about the levels one can watch out. The base has moved higher, with the markets moving higher in the last 4 trading sessions. So if you look at the maximum open interest on the call side now, this is for September 26th, which is there on the screen, but I'm talking about the Thursday expiry. It's moved to 11,200 from 11,000 call, and on the put side from 10,800 to 10,900. So range is pretty clear now, 10,900 on the downside to about 11,200. But the key level will be 11,150. That was a resistance index faced multiple times in the month of August as well. So if we cross that, maybe the up move continues. But for the time being, Agam, 11,000 put this morning has added nearly 15 lakh shares in today's session, whereas on the call side, we've seen some bit of addition coming for higher level strikes like 11,200.
Right, absolutely. And of course, a lot of crucial levels to keep an eye on there. Let's talk about stocks then, and especially those which are looking at a potential surge in open interest in today's day of trade, and that list should be up on your screen. So you do have the likes of CESC up to 1.5%. Tata Motors, what a sharp up move that one is making, and it's up as much as 7%. Of course, we are yet to determine whether or not this is to do with a certain anticipation and ease in global tensions. But, well, the gains are all the same. And along with Tata Motors, there's several others which are also advancing. Siemens is the other one which is seeing a surge in OI. Escorts and Just Dial also in focus. Just Dial, however, is looking at a decline of around 1.3%. Keeping an eye on that one as well. Are we looking at anything in terms of unwinding? Not much, except for Diwan Housing Finance, which does see a 1% uptick. We'll be watching out for that. But mainly today is a day we keep an eye on several of these auto companies which are in focus today.
Yep, that's right. And before we get to the guest in the show, just a reminder for you all who are watching our show, if you have any queries in the futures and options market, you can call us now on 022-4540-4141, or you can also write to us on our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and also YouTube with our SpeakU hashtag.
All right, there you have it. Time to get in our experts for today then. We have Rahul Shah of Motilal Oswal Securities joining us, and Ms. K. Subramanyam of Altamount Capital. Good morning to both of you, and thanks for taking the time out. Rahul, over to you. Your view on the indices. We are certainly looking at a little bit of an up move, an upliftment when it comes to indices.
I think the way the markets have been performing since the last 3-4 days, I think shorters definitely, I think there is pain for them, and I think we've seen that markets slowly and steadily inching up higher, and if we look at a lot of broader participation in the stocks we have seen. So my sense is I think Nifty can outperform in next couple of days, and volatility should be there. So my view is I think one can look at buying call of 11,100, which is trading at at 108 or something, keep a stop loss of 95 and target of 140. And coming to Bank Nifty, I think looks like that it's just forming a base at I think 27,200 and 27,500. So moment it crosses 27,700, I think we could see a sharp jump in it. Till that time, I think it might consolidate from this level.
Okay, so that's the view coming in from Rahul. He's advising to buy the 11,100 call on Nifty. Hi, Mr. Subramanyam. Good morning to you. Are you playing this up move or are you remaining cautious?
Well, the one heartening feature of this rally that we have seen is that the advance decline ratio, I think that's really consistently being the positive. So that's really good for the overall breadth of the market. Index-wise, yeah, I think 11,150 again still remains a hurdle. But I think maybe one of these days we could see surge past that. But I am taking a bet on the Bank Nifty. I think that's the one which has seen some pretty severe shorts, and the short covering could continue. But again, playing a bit safe, giving a calendar bull spread. So what it involves is buying of a 27,700 strike call of the next series, that is ending on September 19th. Buying of that call and selling of a 27,700 strike call of the September 12 contract, which is ending tomorrow. So the net cost comes to about 180 in the eventuality of the market remaining even in some sort of a range in the next couple of days. This contract which ends tomorrow the premium will swing very fast. So that gives an added advantage. Keeping a target of 360 and maybe one could keep a stop loss of 90.
Okay, well, for those who don't know what a bull call spread is, it is employed when one expects a moderate up move in a security and the strategy, a call option of a certain strike is purchased and a call option of a higher strike is simultaneously sold. But that said, let's also take a look at some of the stocks that our experts are trading and looking at. Rahul, coming back to you, your view on some stocks that are looking interesting to you.
I think two stocks ideas from my side. I think first being from the insurance play, ICICI Pru, the stock has hit near to its 52-week high and a good technical support structure for the stock and a good longs built up also in F&O space. So I would go long with the risk to reward is quite favorable in ICICI Pru with a stop loss of 431 and target of 450. Secondly, Grasim, I think, is a stock at trading at the lower trading band and has moved up sharply from the lower levels of 690, 95 odd levels. So I feel that risk to reward looks favorable again in Grasim, and it can make an attempt of 760 or so. So immediate resistance could be 740. So I would recommend to go buy on Grasim with a stop loss of 702 and target of 740.
Okay, so Rahul's recommending two long calls for the day, ICICI Pru, which has been an outperformer so far, and even Grasim futures with a target price of 740. Mr. Subramanyam, you're suggesting a covered call on L&T Finance as well as Axis Bank. Take us through them.
Yeah, the same logic applies. The financials have underperformed and we could see some short covering. So L&T Finance, again, this 85, 890 levels, I think we have seen this counter taking repeated support here. So we could expect the stock now to see some sort of short covering. So one could buy the futures, sell to a 95 strike call, and that's basically a covered call, keeping a target of 98 and maybe stop loss of 88. And Axis Bank, now here again 640, 650. I mean, these levels have seen some very decent support coming about. We have also seen some pretty decent put rating in those strikes. So it's consolidating above the level of 660, 665. So I think one could buy the futures, sell the 680 strike call, keeping a target of 700, and also suggest stop loss of 660.
All right. Well, so it's a covered call there, as Mr. Subramanyam is employing. Again, a covered call is a strategy employed when one investor holds a near-term neutral view with a positive bias and on a security or an index for that matter. And this involves selling a call option of the asset in which the trader or investor has bought securities or is long on its futures. Well, with that, let's also take a look at some of the stocks that we intend to take up in today's day of trade. And let's start off with something like a Yes Bank. Now, something really interesting is starting to happen in Yes Bank. It's showing a lot of strength in today's day of trade. This has been a relatively harder stock to trade of late because of the volatility, but it trades above its 20 daily moving average. It's, of course, we all know, fallen as much as 63% from on a year-to-date basis. So it's certainly seen a lot of erosion when it comes to value for the shareholders. But that said, it's gaining for the second straight day, and today the gains are a little more pronounced, considering there is also, not only is there an increase in volumes, but there is also an increase in open interest towards fresh longs. So let's take a look at this one and how could one proceed with Yes Bank? Rahul, your view here. Would you take this opportunity? Does today and yesterday's move change anything substantially for Yes Bank?
I think obviously the news flow has been in the top and in the stock, and I feel personally, I think a good built up on the OIs, and I feel there could be some more surge in the stock. So with the risk to reward looks favorable on Yes Bank from here onwards. So with a strict stop loss, I would advise going long in Yes Bank, and it can make an attempt of 72 or odd levels.
Okay, that's Yes Bank for you, a stock which is in focus. In fact, it's recovered from the levels of 53 to about 68 now. But the one space which is hogging the limelight today has to be the auto pack, the way it's rebounded. Nifty Auto Index, it's not about today. We've seen some bit of recovery right from the month of August, which continues now in September as well. It's the top sectoral gainer right now. Let's look at the constituents as well in today's session. You've got Tata Motors. Of course, these are all beaten down counters, so the rally is also sharp. So Tata Motors is up about 7.5%. Motherson Sumi has seen gains of about 5%. You've also got the two-wheeler stocks which have outperformed recently the other four-wheeler companies from the likes of Bajaj Auto, TVS Motors. All of them are registering good gains. Rahul, if I could come back to you, considering the sort of sell-off one has seen in these auto stocks this year and the recovery that we've been seeing right from the month of August, of course, nothing's changed in the sector. But if one were to play the up move now, on the charts, what's best placed? Is it Tata Motors, Motherson Sumi, or would you go with a two-wheeler company which has been outperforming?
If I look at the charts, I think the top bets in my mind is four-wheeler play Maruti. I think we've seen a good bounce back from the near-term low of 54.50, and stock has been just rising from those levels. And I feel still a very good structure, and it can still give some more upside left in this stock. So I would advise going long in Maruti with a stop loss of 63.20 and target of 6600. And if I have to go to other stocks, like as you mentioned, Tata Motors, Motherson and all. So I think Tata Motors fairly looks much better from the lows. It has moved up 15%. So I feel that there could be some more upside to the stock, and stock is still in oversold zone. So I think with a stop loss of 126, one can go long with a target of 138 in Tata Motors.
Okay. On that note, let's start taking up queries. An interesting one. The first one is on Kotak Mahindra Bank. We have Anand. He says, Anand on YouTube, he says, please share a view on Kotak Bank for this month's expiry. And he wants to buy futures around 1450. That's where he intends to enter. Let's take a look at Kotak Mahindra Bank. So it's currently at 1465 odd levels, but and we really don't know what the possibility of Kotak Mahindra Bank is moving down at around 1450. That's where. That said, I actually want to take a look at what's going on with this bank. So let's pull up the 3-month view or 3-month movement for Kotak Mahindra Bank, because it has seen a lot of correction in the month of September, August and September, and as you can see on the chart, it has been very, very choppy for this bank as well over the last 3 months. If you just disregard, just that 3% drop in the last 3 months, you're actually seeing it's seen very sharp gyrations between, well, as much as low as 1410 on the higher side, as much as 1540 odd levels. So there certainly is a lot is going on, but what we've also seen is a little bit of recovery off late. So the question is, can you go long on Kotak Mahindra Bank? Mr. Subramanyam, I come to you at 1450. That's what the viewer is looking to enter at. Your view and levels that you would watch out for in Kotak Mahindra Bank.
Yeah, I think in terms of a technical pattern, 1450 was a very critical support level, and it cracked that and went down all the way down to 1400. But again, the stock has regained back, that 1450 level very fast, just in 3-4 sessions. So I think that is where the viewer is probably targeting entry of the at that current level at that level. So I think I agree with him, but even the upside I think could open up only if it goes past 1500, 1520. So that will be very critical. The uptrend has to be maintained. Otherwise, it has broadly been in some sort of a range. But yes, but I would probably agree that 1450 should be a decent level where he could enter and play for some upside.
Okay, let's move on from Kotak Mahindra Bank to Raymond. DN Bhattacharya writes to us on YouTube and he wants a view on this particular stock, which has not done well actually. This year it's down over 30%. Technically also it's been trading about below all its key moving averages. However, there is some bit of rebound in today's session. It's up about 2% in trade. Rahul, would you trade this one? If yes, what are the key levels that one should monitor now on the upside and the downside?
No, I would avoid Raymond's at this point is this juncture of time, and I feel that stock still looks weak, though there's some minor bounce back in the stock today. But I would avoid and I would prefer shorting at the higher levels. I feel that stock can still go to its near-term low of 530 or odd levels.
Okay, let's take another very interesting query. We have Tamil Selvam on YouTube. He has bought the 11,200 September 12th expiry call. That is the one which expires tomorrow. He's bought that call and he's got 15 lots of the Nifty 11,200 September 12 call and paid a premium of 3. And in lieu of that, he has also shorted, well, one lot of the 10,900 call. If it's only one lot, it really doesn't add up to too much of a hedge, considering he is long on 15 lots. But again, he's saying that he's also sold the 10,900 call. Oh, okay, this one is an interesting one at around 130. Please advise what to do with this. Now, well, of course, the 10,900 call is in the money, well, nearly in the money, if I can consider the today's movement. Okay, well, Rahul, I take this query up with you again. I find it hard to totally understand this query, but he's bought 15 lots of the Nifty 11,200, which expire tomorrow, and he's also sold the 10,900 call at 130 rupees. How would you address this?
I think obviously a 10,900 call should be in the loss if it's for the tomorrow's expiry and 11,200 call. So I don't think so there could be a 200 points rally tomorrow or today and tomorrow. So I think that will not make sense. And again, looking at the current juncture, I feel I'm bullish on the market. So he should exit the entire position at this juncture.
Okay, that's the options query on Nifty. Shubham Kirodia writes to us and he's bought Aurobindo Pharma futures at 619.5 and he's in the money. What he wants to know, whether he should look to book profits or he can look to hold on for more upside here. And the stock, by the way, in the last 1 month has moved from levels of 560 to about 620. Mr. Subramanyam, would you advise him to book profits or place a stop loss and wait for more upside here?
Well, the stock has seen a decent uptrend, and I think 615 thereabouts should be a decent stop loss. You could hold on, and I think the stock could go up to levels of 640, 645, where you could consider booking of profits.
Okay, that's Aurobindo Pharma, and I think we have time to take just one more query. We have on YouTube Mamo. He's bought Tech Mahindra 750 call at 8. Is currently in a loss. Should I wait for a bounce back? That's the query. Let's take a look at the 750 call, perhaps also see where Tech Mahindra's underlying is, because that'll give us a better picture. So the underlying is at 704. It's quite unlikely that in the September series, well, it's improbable, but it's not impossible that Tech Mahindra could go and become in the money at around 750, and beyond that, it could result in some profit. So the premium paid here is 8 points, and the premium currently stands at around 2.95, little less than 3. Mr. Subramanyam, I come back to you. Do you think the viewers should book losses, or is there any chance about the charts for Tech Mahindra, because they have shown some strength of late?
Yeah, I think 690 thereabouts itself, we are, sorry, not 690, I think around 730 thereabouts, the 200-day moving average is there, and exactly from there the stock has reverted. So I think it could probably cool off in the next few days, and the probability of it going past, I think those 800 levels might be a little improbable in the current series. So I think you would be better off booking above the losses and probably wait for a better opportunity.
That's Tech Mahindra for you. In fact, I think CS came out with a report where they've upped the target price for this one. Just want to revisit the market. So Nifty is firmly, by the way, trading above the mark of 11,000, which is a positive sign. And we've already addressed the Nifty Auto Index. The other one, which has bounced back quite sharply, is the Nifty Metals Index, which is up about almost 2% in trade. And if you were to look at the constituents of all this index, all of them have been trading with gains. And topping the list is JSPL, which is up about 7.5%. Once again, these are all beaten down counters, so the move is quite sharp. Steel Authority, JSW, Vedanta, the Nifty constituents are also seeing gains of between 3 to 3.5%, and also something like Tata Steel and NMDC. So both ferrous as well as the non-ferrous space is seeing some bit of gains today. Net Agam, I think it's the beaten down space which is bouncing back sharply with the short covering rally we've seen with the markets. Case in point being autos as well as metals.
Yeah, autos and metals will be in focus in today's day of trade. But on that note, I'm going to take a moment to thank both our experts, Rahul and Mr. Subramanyam, for joining us and taking us through their views, as well as solving some of our viewer queries. Of course, don't forget, we certainly have a lot of information on the futures and options pages on our website, bloombergquint.com.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. Thanks a lot for watching. You can stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint for more news and updates.